We wanna be a part of your success story. We wanna be with you every day, every night, every moment. Cause we are the people's living voice. King 103.9 FM. Anybody love? Oba Radio Walede. Kekule bakoso fundoko. King 103.9 FM, the people's leading voice.
Preview.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board Flight King FM 103.9 with services from Premier Hotel Ibadan. We expected to be in here in approximately 2 minutes time. We ask that you please fasten your seatbelts at this time and please turn off all electronic devices such as laptops and cell phones to ensure maximum concentration. Smoking is hereby prohibited for the duration of the flight. Thanks for choosing King FM. Enjoy your flights. World Review begins now. Yeah, okay, a very wonderful afternoon to you out there under the sound of my voice once again. It's a very beautiful afternoon. 2:19 p.m. Nigerian time in the studios of King FM 103.9, and of course, it's today, the 22nd day in the month of January 2021. Right about time once again to bring you that exciting show on radio, World in Review. My name is Ajibola Samuel, your regular host on the show. And what we basically do on the show every Friday afternoons, 2:15 p.m. Nigerian time to 3 p.m. Nigerian time, is to bring you the major news that made the headlines throughout the course of the week in the foreign scene, the international political scene. We try to break the news down for you so as to have a perfect understanding of what's going on around the world. Once again, my name is Ajibola Samuel. This is King 103.9 FM, and it's a very big pleasure bringing to you today's edition of the show. We've compiled quite a lot of news and interesting events that happened in the African scene and in the outside world, Europe, North America, South America, throughout the course of the week. And without further ado, we'll be diving straight into the show, breaking it down for you and trying to make you have in-depth analysis. I'm not alone on the show today. I'm here with a wonderful colleague of mine. But before we go into the show proper, I would like to apologize. Yeah, I've had sore throat for the past couple of days now, and it's been making my throat itchy. So, forgive me if my voice does not sound 100% today. You just take it like that. Hopefully, when next we come back on the show, I will have a perfect voice, and there will be a better service delivery. Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Paul.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, without further ado, let's delve straight into the various news that we've got for us today. Yeah, moving forward quickly, Uganda elections. Of course, we talked about it last week on the show, and we did more like a comprehensive preview, or is it a review of the election that went down? Okay, let's call it a preview. I remember last week on the show, we talked about the different candidates, what they have for the people of Uganda, and we'll listen to some couple of voices and what they've got to offer. Yeah, results of the elections are finally out. And according to the result of the election, incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, once again the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, who happens to have been governing the country since 1986, actually won his sixth term, amid what newspaper records that the election was actually marred with violence and different allegations of fraud. At the end of the day, he won the election with 58.64% of the votes, and it was reported that the voters' turnout was 57%. So, the election was actually held on the 14th day in the month of January 2020, and Yoweri Museveni, like I said, of the National Resistance Movement gathered a total number of 5,851,037 votes, which totals 58.64% of the votes. And the popular musician who was actually his main rival, his name is Robert Kyagulanyi. We popularly know him as Bobby Wine. He was the nearest in terms of votes won. He was able to gather a total of 3,475,298 votes, doing the percentage tally 34.83% of the votes. Like I said once again, Yoweri Museveni, the incumbent, won 58.64%, while the closest challenger got 34.83% of the votes. So they will be doing less of talking and much of listening. Okay, let's take a quick trip to Uganda and get a listen to the results of Uganda's decision on the 14th of January 2021.
The Commission is now pleased to proceed to declare the results of the presidential elections in accordance with Section 57 of the Presidential Elections Act and undertakes to share the detailed results with all stakeholders. For God and my country, I thank you. Declaration of the presidential elections results. Under Article 103, Clause 7 of the Constitution of the Republic of... Whereas a presidential election was held on the 14th day of January 2021, scores by each candidate. Amriat Oboy Patrick, 323,536 valid votes polled by the said candidate, which represents a percentage of 3.24 of the total valid votes cast. Kavuleta Kiza Joseph, 44,300, which represents 0.44%. Kalembe Nancy Linda, 37,469, representing 0.38%. Katumba John, 35,983, representing 0.36%. Kyagulanyi Sentam Robert, 3,475,298, 3,475,298, representing 34.83%. Mao Nobat, 55,665, representing 0.56%. Mayamba Luwile, 14,000.64%. Total number of invalid votes, 381,386, amounting to 3.68% of the total number of votes cast. Now therefore, candidate Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, having obtained the highest number of votes in the election and the votes cast in his favor being more than 50% of the valid votes cast at the election, the Electoral Commission declares Yoweri Museveni Kaguta elected President of the Republic of Uganda at the presidential election held on the 14th day of January 2021.
Okay, that is the voice of what in Nigeria we call the returning officer, or probably the electoral presidential and the electoral body. Of course, he had him reading the results of each candidate in the election and finally announcing that Yoweri Museveni happened to be the winner of the election with once again a total of 58.64% of the votes. Yeah, for a man that has been president since 1986. And of course, like we said, the country actually went into a total internet lockdown. And one thing that baffled the world again was the main opposition has actually been put more like under house arrest. He tweeted some couple of days ago that he has been placed under house arrest for about 3 days. Soldiers guarding his house, nobody allowed to come in or go out. His nephews and the babies with him are stuck in the house, and of course they've run out of food items. But of course, the government of the country said his life is actually in danger, and they actually took that step in order to protect him. Another election in Africa, another drama.
Well, will I say congratulations to him or
yeah, of course, we have to congratulate him for emerging winners.
Since 1986, and is still relevant to their country. Let me use that word. But placing the equivalent on house arrest, I think, is not something that is proper. Even if the life is on danger, we need to know why his life is on danger. Is it because he contests and is equivalent or is next to him in the number of the election, or why? That is what they need to let us know. It's not that the life is on danger, you give them a house arrest. So he doesn't want him to take any step, maybe because of the election, the riot that happened, because a lot of things happened during the election. The election is a violent election. So maybe there's some step you want to take. Now the best way to keep him away from all those steps is to give him a house arrest. So I would urge them to just look into it, find a way out. We need to go away from that level of putting us in one place, house arrest because of the election. Let's overlook at it. It's not what to do. If you know that you are truly won the election, why will you command?
Our democracy is still developing. I mean, a country claims to have about 200 years of democracy, and there was a siege on their capital on the 6th of January. Yeah, so maybe you can cut Africa some slack. Okay, moving forward quickly. This is another election in another African country that we've been talking about for some couple of days now, and it's the election that actually happened in the Central African Republic. This election actually happened last year, I think the 27th day in the month of December 2020. And after the election and the results were read out, the opposition actually came out to say they are not going to accept the election results because it was marred by violence, and some key important regions were not able to vote due to the violence that was prevalent in the election. But according to the news that we got from that small African country today, Central African Republic, the Constitutional Court actually confirms the re-election of the incumbent president. Now, the Central African Republic's Constitutional Court on Monday confirmed that President Faustin Archange Touadera his victory in the last election last month was marked by poor turnout and threats from armed groups. Touadera is proclaimed to be re-elected president in the first round of the 27 December 2020 election, Chief Judge Daniel Dalian said, validating the results that gave him 53.16% of the votes. The court put the turnout at just at 5.25%, a figure affected by the inability of many voters to cast their ballots. And I did a little bit of research, and I actually got to find out that about 800 some 800 of the country's polling stations, which amounts to 14% of the total, were closed due to violence and during the first round, and voting was unable to take place in 29 of the 71 sub-prefectures, while 6 others only managed to partially vote before being shut down due to voter intimidation. So what I'm trying to say is that there is actually a very big evidence to show that there was election violence all over the world, all over the Central African Republic country. And just like I've read the statistics, 800 amounting to 14% of the polling stations were not allowed to vote, and some couple of other polling stations, there were clear evidences to show us that voter intimidation happened there. Looking at these evidences that we have, and the Supreme Court still went on to say they are going to uphold the election results. Is this fair? Is this justice?
It is not at all, because the statistic is there and it has shown us that this election is violent. So the judge has to look into it very deeply, and sometimes it depends on the lawyers. Let me say that word, who is defends the result
and the evidences that they present.
You understand the evidence they present. So based on that, that is what the judge is going to do. But to me, I have to we need to let them know that no, it's beyond that. If 1,000 people are meant to vote and just only 15 is voting with riot and everything, automatically we know that something has gone wrong somewhere. So that is what the judge needs to look into. Not that, okay, maybe this person is my candidate. You know, sometimes we look at it that, okay, apart from being a judge or this, okay, is my candidate. So I can use that one to judge. You understand? If he's my candidate and I give him the opportunity, he can give me an opportunity again to, you know. But we have to be fair in everything. It's not fair at all. The statistics can show that most of the polling booths are not open. And that's me, people in that area will not have access to vote. You understand? That is me, their rights are being denied.
Of course.
So for that reason, they have to do re-elect. You understand? Let them do the election again, so that let be peaceful in the environment, that everybody will participate in the election, and that will now show, okay, this person is real person that won the election, or another person win the election.
Probably they felt that the 14% out of 100% is a negligible number, and they could actually do away with it, considering the fact that the winner of the election actually polled 53.92% of the vote, and the second closest in number comes close with 21.01% of the votes. Maybe they feel 14% is negligible and can be thrown outside of the corridor.
No. Okay, let's look at it in this form. What is the population people in the area, and the vote age of people? How many are they? How many people register in the community? And the people that are coming out from the one angle, do you know sometimes that the area that the election could not take place can be more populated than the area where the election is taking place?
Yeah, it's possible.
So that is the reason that they have to. That is the reason why they have to. Because the area you block for them not to vote, that is me, if you look at it deeply, there's a good number of people from that area
that have been disenfranchised.
So that is the reason why they have to do it again, that okay, these people right have been stepped on, let them revote, or let their area to cast their vote, so that we count them again.
Okay, moving forward quickly, there's this damning report, and looking at the headlines makes me shiver and of course shriek. Well, it's not on the African continent, and of course not only peculiar to the African continent. According to the headline, Ghana's baby harvesting syndicate arrested. Once again, baby harvesting, and probably the headline paints this in such a very nice manner. It's something we are used to in this part of the world, baby making factories. Now, members of an alleged baby harvesting and child trafficking syndicate have been arrested in Ghana. It follows a sting operation where 2 babies were sold to investigators for about $5,000 and $4,800 each. Once again, a sting operation happened. Some investigators actually bought 2 babies, one for $5,000, another for $4,800. The 11 suspects includes 2 doctors, 4 nurses, 2 mothers, 2 social welfare officers, and a traditional birth attendant. They were legally operating at a health facility in the capital, Accra, and the neighboring city of Tema. Authorities believe some of the mothers may have been told that their babies had died after delivery. They say others who are unable to take care of their newborns may have been encouraged to sell them. The 2 rescued baby boys are now in care of the authorities, And this was actually a report by the BBC. The BBC's Thomas Nadi in Accra says the case has come as a surprise to many in Ghana, where talk of baby harvesting is not new, but until now there had been no evidence of the practice. Now, doing a brief lowdown once again, a sting operation, 2 babies were bought for $5,000 and $4,800 each, and of course 11 suspects were arrested, 2 doctors, 4 nurses, 2 mothers, 2 social welfare officers and a traditional birth attendant, and they were allegedly operating at a health facility in Accra, Ghana, and in the neighboring city of Tema. Okay, we take a quick trip to Ghana right now and we'll get to listen to a report of the sting operation that happened, and of course one of the police PRO ruling out the names and the people that have been arrested. But first, you hear the voice of the reports, the sting operation that happened between investigators on how the babies were actually rescued.
7 a.m. on the morning of 31st December 2020, the last day of the year. As many people prepared to bid farewell to one year and welcome another, somewhere at the Tema General Hospital within the Tema metropolis, a baby was about seeing the last of his biological mother. In motion on that fateful day was a sale of a 1-month-old baby boy by an organized baby selling cartel. This syndicate is made up of several people, including doctors, nurses, and social welfare officers, among others, all of whom are entrusted with the responsibility of providing assistance to mothers and their newly born babies. Their operations had been on the radar of the Medical and Dental Council for a while, and today the council has teamed up with the officers from Economic and Organized Crime Office (EOCO) to foil one of such illegal transactions. The Connect, Leonard Able, an officer at the head office of the Department of Social Welfare, had already taken 10,000 Ghana cedis as a deposit for the baby who he was selling at 28,000 Ghana cedis from a woman in need of a baby, not knowing she was an undercover officer with EOCO. The Joy News team was embedded in the operation and filmed from a distance as Mr. Able went to collect the baby and accompanied the female undercover officer to a vehicle. This was the point of arrest. Since revealed, Mr. Able was not alone. His accomplices, a nurse only identified as Nancy, and the head of the social welfare at the hospital, also referred to as Auntie Doris, had heard of the arrest and immediately bolted.
I've got there several times, but she's not picking up the phone call, and I got it.
They gave money that I should go and pay it.
Okay.
So
what's
later,
the evidence that you paid?
Oh, so the woman said that.
Which woman?
Nancy said that she had done adoption before, and she said that she had somebody. She has a baby, an abandoned baby here. Doris said he had an abandoned baby here. You get me? So I should assist her in the baby is there. Somebody, if they will have somebody.
Not even a call from the medical director of the facility could get them to return.
Can you come right away to my office? Am I general director? Yes.
Entire morning went by with the arrested suspect pleading for mercy as he sent the team on a wild goose chase from one facility.
Okay, you had the reports there, and of course you can hear one of the suspects that was nabbed saying, a woman that actually had an abortion, and the next baby he had, he was looking for someone to buy, blah blah. Okay, we are not done with Ghana yet.
The joint team carried out investigations into the illegal activities between the periods of June to November 2020. As a result of these investigations, 2 medical doctors, 2 social workers, 4 nurses, 2 mothers, and 1 traditional birth attendant have been arrested so far and are on bail pending further investigations. We currently have in our possession 2 baby boys who were bought as a result of the operation. As to how the investigation started.
Okay, we don't have much time. Let's leave it there and of course move quickly to talk about this. Another case of baby factory, baby making factory in baby sales, child trafficking, again in Africa. If you haven't forgotten, we talked about one in Kenya, where children and babies were being sold like they were maize and beans in the market. Yeah, and one thing that actually strikes me before I get your opinion on this is that the police, when the police was actually addressing the press, he made mention of the fact that they have actually been granted bail until proper investigation has been done. I'm not asking that they be denied their human rights, but this kind of offense, bail. Okay, what do you think on the baby making factory first before you talk about bail?
That is exactly what I want to say. Let me start from that angle. Somebody that you already know that this thing is committed, you have seen it as an evidence. Why you granting that kind of person a bail? Why can't you do the necessary things that are necessary? Sue them to court. Let the judgment to be passed, not by giving them a bail and you want to do investigation. What type of investigation do you want to do? Because I'm looking at it that for how long will continue in this system? Baby factory everywhere. Why? It baffles me. When you know you are not ready, why did you go into it? When you know that you cannot take care of the child, why did you decide to bring it to this world? And the people that are doing it as a business, even the question that I want to ask earlier is that for many people that the law are pit that they are doing this thing, what is the judgment are they giving to them? Because by the time you go read, you find out that at the end of the day, the story will just die off. No punishment, nothing. So I think that is bringing it more and more cases of it up. That people that have done it in this country, nothing happened to them. In other country, nothing happened to them. So if we can do it in our own country, nothing will happen to us. So we need to pass a punishment on those kind of things so that it will reduce. And the women that are involved in it, if truly you have a pregnancy and you are not forced to do it, why do you have to sell your child?
Yeah, African continents and this kind of news. May God help us open our eyes to see the light and of course do these things right.
Yes.
Okay, quickly, let's leave the African continent and move to the other part of the world. Yeah, and of course, how can we not talk about this? The events that actually dominated the headlines throughout the course of the week. Transition of power in the United States of America from the first to sixth president, President Donald Trump of the 45th president of the United States to the 46th president of the United States, of course, President Joe Biden. Let's start with President Donald Trump. His presidency was over, or is over, just like we know, and Donald Trump actually bid farewell to Washington on Wednesday, but also hinted at a comeback despite a legacy. Well, I don't want to talk about that. Goodbye, we love you, we'll be back in some form, Trump told supporters at the Joint Base Andrews in Maryland, where he received a 21-gun salute as part of a military send-off before boarding Air Force One for his last time as president. And it was reported that he was already in Florida at his private Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach by the time Joe Biden was sworn in just before noon as the 46th president of the United States. Okay, he recorded more like a farewell message and dropped it some couple of hours before he officially left the White House and before the official inauguration of the 46th president of the United States. Okay, we'll take a quick trip to the United States right now and we'll get to listen to the farewell message of Donald Trump and of course the 45th First Lady of the United States of America.
As I conclude my term as the 45th President of the United States, I stand before you truly proud of what we have achieved together. We did what we came here to do, and so much more. This week we inaugurate a new administration and pray for its success in keeping America safe and prosperous. We extend our best wishes, and we also want them to have luck, a very important word. All Americans were horrified by the assault on our capital. Political violence is an attack on everything we cherish as Americans. It can never be tolerated. Now more than ever, we must unify around our shared values and rise above the partisan rancor and forge our common destiny. We passed the largest package of tax cuts and reforms in American history. We slashed more job-killing regulations than any administration had ever done before.
Okay, the voice of President of the United States, outgoing President of the United States, or the outgoing President of the United States, President Donald John Trump. And of course, you get to listen to him boast of some things that he has been able to achieve with his administration. And of course, he kept wishing the incoming administration. Didn't mention the name, but still kept wishing them luck and calling it an important word. Okay, we are not even the United States of America yet. The voice of the outgone First Lady. 45th, is it 45th right now? I'm not sure of the numbers because I'm not sure every president actually had a first lady. But the voice of Melania Trump, as she also says a goodbye to the American populace.
Fellow Americans, it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as First Lady of the United States. I have been inspired by incredible Americans across our country who lift up our communities through their kindness and courage, goodness and grace. The past 4 years have been unforgettable. As Donald and I conclude our time in the White House, I think of all of the people I have taken home in my heart and their incredible stories of love, patriotism, and determination. As the world continues to confront the COVID-19 pandemic, I thank all of the nurses, doctors, healthcare professionals.
Yeah, okay, thank you to Kamala. Our time is fast spent. Unfortunately, we would not be able to take the rest of the voice. Okay, to the main events that actually grabbed the headlines throughout the course of the week is the swearing in and, of course, the inauguration of the 46th President of the United States, President Joe Biden, and, of course, his vice, Kamala Harris. Now, let's take a quick trip to the United States of America once again and get to listen to both of them take their oath of office. And of course, we'll listen to the inaugural speech of the 46th President of the United States of America, Joe Biden. Okay, now in the United States once again.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
Office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Ugandan 103.9, the leading voice of the people.
The right hand and repeat after me. I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
I, Kamala Davy Harris, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
That I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, President Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States of America, and of course his vice, Kamala David Harris, taking the oath of office. You heard both their voices there, and it was quite an eventful ceremony. Social distance was adequately actually respected, and yeah, I watched it live. From the singing of the national anthem to the public address to the swearing in, it was quite interesting, I must say. And okay, let's go back to the United States of America and listen to the inaugural speech of Joe Biden before I get your opinion on what Joe Biden's presidency holds for the world and Africa.
This is America's day. This is democracy's day. A day of history and hope, of renewal and resolve. Few people in our nation's history have been more challenged or found a time more challenging or difficult than the time we're in now. Once-in-a-century virus that silently stalks the country has taken as many lives in 1 year as America lost in all of World War II. Millions of jobs have been lost. Hundreds of thousands of businesses closed. A cry for racial justice, some 400 years in the making, moves us. The dream of justice for all will be deferred no longer. A cry for survival comes from the planet itself. A cry that can't be any more desperate. To overcome these challenges, to restore the soul and secure the future of America requires so much more than words. It requires the most elusive of all things in a democracy: unity. Unity. In another January, on New Year's Day in 1863, Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. When he put pen to paper, the president said, and I quote, "If my name ever goes down into history, it'll be for this act, and my whole soul is in it." My whole soul is in it. Today, on this January day, my whole soul is in this, bringing America together, uniting our people. History, faith, and reason show the way of unity. We can see each other not as adversaries, but as neighbors. We can treat each other with dignity and respect. We can join forces, stop the shouting, and lower the temperature. For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only a state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward.
Okay, the voice of President Joe Biden, the 46th President of the United States of America. And congratulations to the whole of the American states for having a successful inauguration. But quickly, before I take your thoughts on what I said earlier, what President Joe Biden's tenure or presidency means for the whole world, and of course Africa as a continent. Yeah, it quickly went to work, and it was reported that President Joe Biden spent his first hours actually undoing and repealing some of President Donald Trump's initiative, undoing many of the hallmarks of President Donald Trump's tenure, and allowing his own tenure, Biden, to begin his own path on how the U.S. will respond to multiple national crises. Joe Biden actually signed more than a dozen executive actions on Wednesday in the Oval Office, just hours after arriving at the White House and after being sworn in as the president. One of the measures he signed include measures to rejoin the Paris Agreement on climate change, repeal Trump's restriction on travel ban from several Muslim-majority countries. Of course, Nigeria was one of the beneficiaries, Eritrea one of them, Myanmar, Iraq, Iran, and quite a lot of countries. Stop the construction of the southern border wall and mandate the wearing of masks on federal property. He also used his first day in office to propose a sweeping immigration reform bill, a lofty legislative task his administration has decided to take on from his start. So, repealing Trump's initiative and of course embarking on his own journey as the new 46th president of the United States of America. Like I said, our time is fast spent, just about 3 minutes left. What does
I will just say congratulations to him, because he faced the trial and was able to win. And I see him as a person that has a goal, a vision, and determination.
A lot of Americans will disagree.
That is where I see him. And if you look at most of his words, he use unity, which is something that very, very important. I see him as somebody that love the blacks, because the blacks have suffered in America's this thing, but
based on your opinion?
Yeah, based on my own opinion, but you show love to them. That is why you could have the first vice as a black person. You understand?
The vice president.
Vice president as a black. You understand? And he's a female. So it shows love, and I pray the Lord will help him to walk away in the office.
Yeah, and one of the things that the inauguration was threatened with was threats of insurrection and violence, and of course we know Donald Trump did deploy about 1,900 National Guards, and at some point again deployed another 1,300 National Guards to help curb the insurrection and violence that could have happened. Thank God no form of violence happened on that day, and he actually had a smooth inauguration. We have to go right now. My name is Ajibala Samuel. Of course, it's a pleasure bringing to you today's edition of the show. Join us again same time for another exciting edition of the show next week. I remain Ajibala Samuel.
Have a wonderful weekend ahead of you.
Au revoir.
King one